Dropout and Game Changer, it's one of my favorite communities I'm a part of. And this week we had something really special go on, and I want to explain it to everybody else who's not in that community. So for some context, Game Changer is a game show on the streaming service Dropout, where the premise of the game show changes every week. And this week was basically Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? Jacob Wysocki, someone who's very common on Dropout, and a comedian and actor in his own right, was on a recent episode, and anybody who watches their social media would notice that those are all his friends around him too. He thought it was going to be a typical Game Changer, something where he has to be entertaining and try to win. But it quickly became clear that the entire show was built around celebrating Jacob. The questions, the very easy lifelines or ripcords, they were tailor-made for Jacob's life, his career, and the friends around him, and even surprised him by bringing on his dad. In the end, Jacob walked away with $100,000. And that's incredible, but it's so much more impactful when you think that this show was made for him to get that $100,000. He could not lose this thing. Matter of fact, he got questions wrong, they found a way to go around it. It's even more special because Jacob had, quote, a shitty year. He lost his mom and one of his friends from his sketch group this year, and of course there's also the professional challenges. Jacob picked a profession that he loves, but it takes a lot of work. The Dropout team knew the tough year that he was in, and wanted to acknowledge not only the survival of such a bad year, but also the community that's around Jake that builds up around Dropout as a whole. Their gesture was meant as support, not just spectacle. Now, if all of your Game Changer friends are in the mix of walking on cloud nine and were crying for some reason on Monday, this is why. But I want to give you another moment that Jacob really shined, and it was in the first episode of this season. In that episode, he, Vic, and Lou had 1 year to complete a series of challenges. It's probably the highlight of the season. It was fantastic. Well, they all got a little bit of money to do different things, and through Jacob's efforts, he generally was donating money to other causes. Most notably is they were each given $1,000 to invest, and he invested his in Nvidia. A wise choice, it nearly tripled his money. After he won that specific challenge, he then donated it all. He donated it to a nonprofit called Rainbow Services. It's a nonprofit that helps with domestic violence survivors, and it was important to his late mother. Once that episode aired, the beautiful Dropout community also stepped up and donated an additional $8,000 through crowdfunding. So that's what's going on in the world of Dropout, a community that I am very proud to be a part of, and I wanted to share it with everybody who didn't know what was going on. Pure kindness on a random improv game show on Monday night. One little tidbit I want to add. During the production of this episode, they asked for sponsors. And for the community, it was a little weird. Like, we all have a subscription to this. The idea is that there's no ads. Why would you need a sponsor? But overwhelmingly, the fan base was, we trust Sam, we trust the team. This is going to be for something special. And yes, this episode was an entire ad for LinkedIn. And they did a good job. It was actually a solid ad for LinkedIn. But it was so nice knowing that they were just handing that cash to Jacob Wysocki. It was fun. I'm not trying to advertise Dropout to anybody. I think you really should watch it. But I just really wanted to share a really special moment that happened in that community and why it's a streaming service that has such a really fun fan base. All right, everybody, have yourself a great week. And if you can, check out Game Changer. They do have a few episodes that are free on YouTube. It's wild, it's fun, it's improv, and it's a hell of a supportive community.